Hi guys, it's time for our lesson. Let me share my screen here and we will go over this. All right, so our team cooperation goal has been active listening. Remember, when you are being a good active listener, that you are looking at the speaker and you're being quiet and you're sitting still. Okay, let's look at we're going to be still talking about summarizing, and our word power is going to be compound words and be writing a summary journal entry. Okay, let's go over our vocabulary words. If you have your chart, you're going to be filling in day 2. So you're going to put a plus next to the word if you know it, and a question mark if you're still unsure. So I'm just going to go through these. Cheered means yelled loudly and happily, like the crowd cheered when their team scored. Leapt. Oops, I'm doing the wrong one. Sorry. Let me go back. Hold on. Whoops. We'll get there. All right, here we go. Thought those words were funny. Okay, so we are doing compound words and writing a summary. Let me make sure I picked the right one. I'm sorry. We're going down here. There we go. We are writing a compare and contrast paragraph, and we're doing synonyms. Sorry, not compound words. So our first word is speedy. Speedy means fast. I like riding the speedy train that gets me to faraway places quickly. Length just means distance, like kangaroos can jump a length of 25 feet when they are moving at full speed. Usually means normally. I usually get up at 7 o'clock, but today I slept in and got up later. Hands, this means gives to, like every afternoon our teacher hands us our homework assignments. And there's a picture of a lady handing some flowers to another lady. Attempts, that means tries. It took 3 attempts, but I finally memorized my lines and I could say my part without stopping. Clear, this means to go over or get past, like my dog can run, jump, and clear a 4-foot tall fence with no problems. Raised, that means made higher. Kendra raised her hand because she knew the correct answer to the question. Shoves, that means pushes hard. Margaret shoves her laundry into a bag when she needs to wash it in the laundry room. And here's a picture of some football players, and they are shoving, or they shove each other. Okay, so last time we made a story tree, or sorry, an idea tree to help us remember our text. So here's so you can see it. So a story tree is going to help us just kind of summarize what we've read, and the completed one, hopefully you got all of them in. Let's see here. Like this. Okay, so when I'm looking at my idea tree, I can see that it was all about track and field. And if I was telling someone about it, I might say track and field athletes are people who play sports. Track and field has lots of events. Sprinters can run fast to win. Okay, and then sprinters run short distances. That's what a sprinter is. And then we have long distance races. We can say you run further and fast. Relay races have teams of 4 runners. The fastest team of runners win the race. Hurdle races, the runners jump over 5 to 10 hurdles in a race, and the races are shorter distances. So that just kind of, we can use our idea tree to help us summarize what we've read. And we're going to be using another one today. We're going to use another idea tree to read again today, but we're going to start by Let me look here. Okay, so think about what you think is going to happen next in the story first. Give you a second to think about that based on what we've read. And we're going to be looking at part 2, jumping. Okay, and now here's a question about yesterday's reading. What happens before the second runner in a relay starts to race? So I can look back. Let me find my story here. So if I'm looking back in my story, and we were talking about the relay races. Okay. Hold on a second. That was on page 46 here where they talk about that. So the question said, what happens before the second runner in a relay starts to race? Well, it says right here, relay runners carry a stick. This stick is called a baton. The first runner starts running with it. Before she stops, she hands it off to the next runner. More runners hand it off one after another, and then the last runner crosses the finish line with it. Okay, so now I am going to read to you a little bit. So let me go back here. I'm going to start with part 2, how far can you go? Okay, this one says, track and field isn't all about running. Jumping is also part of it. There are 4 different jumping events. The first we'll learn about is the long jump. It is very simple. Athletes sprint down a narrow track. At the end of the track is called a sandbox, called the pit. Just before the pit, there is a line called the board. The jumper takes off from this line. His foot must not cross the front of the line or his jump will not count. He lands feet first in the sandbox. Then the official measures from the point where the athlete jumped to where his feet first landed. That's how far he jumped. The person whose jump is the longest of all wins. And here's some extra information. Don't fall. The official measures the mark in the sand closest to the board. That means if you fall backwards after your jump, he measures from where you sat down. Okay, so we want to make a new idea tree. We need a blank page in your journal, and we're going to make a new idea tree for this. So down here would be our topic. Okay, and then we're just going to draw a little bubble for this page. Okay, and let's think, what was that passage mostly about? Well, it was mostly about the long jump. So I'm going to put long jump on my idea tree. Okay, and that I'm going to put the page number 2. That was on page 48. Okay, so then let's go back here. Let me go over your questions. Okay, it says, use sequence words to describe the triple jump. Choose the important idea from page 50 from the following list. Then tell why you think this is the important idea. So the choices are jumpers jump onto a soft mat. The highest jump over the bar wins. Jumpers get 2 tries to clear the bar. Number 3 says, what happens when a pole vault jumper shoves the pole into a hole in the track? So you're going to have to go back to page 51 where this talks about pole vault jumpers, and make sure you use a question stem. So if it says, what happens when the pole vaulter shoves the pole into a hole in the track, you're going to say, when the pole vault jumper shoves the pole into a hole in the track, and then finish when you're answering this question. Which of the following statements is an opinion? So the runner has a long pole in her hands. This one is the neatest of them all. If she clears it, they raise the bar. Pole vault jumpers can go as high as 20 feet into the air. Okay, so you are going to read page 49 to 51 by yourself. And then you're going to go back and answer your questions on the Canvas page. Let's look at our word power. Sometimes more than one word can mean the same or almost the same thing. These words are called synonyms. Learning synonyms help us to define words, make connection among words we know, and become better speakers and writers because we can use more advanced words. Okay, so I have some words here. Let me stop sharing for a second so you can see them. Okay, so if I was thinking of some synonyms for these words, for example, community. Community could be like a neighborhood, or plant. Plant is like a flower. Or plentiful. Plentiful means just like many. Understand, like know, like I know something. Let me go back here. So let's look at these words. I have the word throw. What would be another word for throw? Or a synonym? Pitch. How about rattle? You could say shake. How about the word stream? You could say creek. How about the word field? You could say meadow. Okay, so on this part, this is also going to be on your Canvas page. Choose a word from the vocabulary list and write a meaningful sentence for that word. So it has to make sense in this sentence. You can pick any of the words from our vocabulary list. And then name 2 things that could be described as speedy. Okay, so that is our lesson for today. We were talking about summarizing and using synonyms today and using that graphic organizer called the idea tree.